Yes, I've got a patient who's came in a critical condition, so is it important? These two say that he had a daughter who survived, wishes to see him. Yeah, that's all right. Family can come in. I assume that wouldn't be either of you.
No, we don't wish to frighten the child more after the ordeal that she witnessed.
Are they aware of the cause of injury?
You ask, he says, we heard the story, yeah. That's why they called me. I may not be what I once was, but I still have some talent at healing.
Are you seasoned in aiding to the wounds inflicted by the undead?
I have some talent in that area. Undead are not the main foe I have buried over the years. That honor would go to orcs.
Oh, great.
But I've dealt with undead from time to time, yes.
Then perhaps you would be the most knowledgeable person to ask what might have caused something like this. He had been told that before his wife had turned, she was ill. Is that ever an indicator, or do you believe that there could have been some sort of other cause?
He shakes his head, says, that's nothing I've ever heard of. Usually, well, there's one situation under which someone gets ill and then turns undead. But it doesn't apply here.
Why is that?
Because she would have turned to a vampire if she'd been bitten by one.
Ah.
So, no, I don't know exactly what could have caused that. Zombies, you think necromancer, of course. They're saying there wasn't one, which tells me either that they don't know shit, which seems likely, or it's something new, which frankly terrifies me.
We are concerned that might be the case. I will ask, you said his condition is serious. Do you believe that he'll pull through?
I do. Yes, I do. I don't think he'll be on his feet for a few days, but I think he'll pull through. His body is exhausted from healing itself. But recovering, at this point, I would say the wounds are non-life-threatening and are healing. I was expecting that he would be able to wake up by the end of the day, and ideally I would keep him here a bit longer, but if he wishes to go home, well, I could use the bed space, so that's his choice.
One other question. You said that there were more injured today than you normally encounter?
Part of the reason why I think this might be something new. This was not an isolated incident.
Oh, fantastic.
Why did we not hear about other cases?
There haven't been many. To my knowledge, 4 or 5.
Can I ask, do you happen to know where the incidents took place, where they were located within the city?
Most seem to have happened here in the Donetsk region. I think there was one that happened in the heart. In every case, what appears to have happened is a death by natural causes, though accelerated. People who were already ill or already frail, rather aged man, for example, suddenly took a turn for the worse this past night and into the morning. And then after they passed, they came back. I don't have much communication, much contact in other regions, but from what I've heard, it seems mostly isolated to this part of town. The Heart and Donetski, the western sectors of the city. But not very many, and all people who are already none well.
Would it happen to be that any members of their family are here in the clinic now?
Yes. I'm sorry, who are you?
How do you describe us? Private investigators? I don't know.
Unfortunate participants in halting the advance of the undead at this point. It's hard to say. It all started with, trying to get the food back into town, and then next thing you know, the dead are rising all around you. It's,
I do kind of want to make it clear that there is legitimacy here. We were initially asked by law enforcement to help with all of this, so it's not like we're just undead hunting enthusiasts. There is a certain element of security clearance.
Look, I really can't have people I haven't personally... I can't have you wandering about the clinic.
Of course
It's busy, but if you want to talk with people after they're dismissed, well, you're welcome to do that. Wouldn't stop you even if I were in a position to. People come out, you can talk to them fine.
I feel obligated to say that unless this is dealt with promptly, however busy you are right now, you may very well soon find yourself to be completely overrun.
Make a charisma check.
God,
You seem to be doing those tonight, aren't you?
I just am trying to make compelling points, and then I forget that there's an actual logistic element.
They are potentially compelling points, which means the difficulty might be lower than it otherwise might be, but he doesn't know you, so he's gotta...
That's fair, balls.
Listen, I hear you. Get some sort of paperwork or something if you want to come in. Otherwise, come back later or just linger. Patients who get dismissed, talk with them. And if you can find a way to prevent things from growing worse, then do that.
How long, can I ask, how long you plan to remain in Garakan?
I don't have anything lined up. Usually I don't linger for too long. Probably by the end of the week I was planning to move on, but if things get worse, I'll likely stick around. Seems people are in need of a bit of laying on of hands.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your concern. Good luck. And he's going to go back to his patients. And you reconvene with Lithram. Elda does have permission now to come, as was established. She can, sit by her father's bedside and be in the clinic. The rest of you aren't welcome, but you could leave her there with the clinic staff if you wanted to.
I've sort of had a thought. If it's happening on the western side of town, if it is possible that it's a contamination of the water supply. If this
did we check that well? I know you had mentioned it.
Oh,
But did we end up actually doing that? Was that part of our roles that we had done when we were on our way out of that house?
might have been.
Yeah, I think people got distracted
by
by the mob. It's not far. If you want to go by there and collect some water to test or something, you could.
Yeah, I'll break out a spare vial and check around it to see if there's anything untoward at the arcane, I guess.
While Stas does that,
Can I just
go ahead.
Real quick, just to kind of get some clarity? You had said Donetski was lower income, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Is the Heart the same?
The Heart is a little bit wealthier than Donetski, but yeah, the eastern side of town seems to be the nicer side.
Is this a elitist plot?
I don't know. What are you doing about Lithram and Elda?
I thought he said did he say he expected him to wake up by the end of the day, or
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that's up to you, Sean, how much time you want to spend playing the nanny.
And I assume we're not going to be riding off on donkeys to negotiate.
That is the other
this-
question.
At
So
this point,
I'd say, just for the sake of resolving that, the party can reconvene briefly to make that decision now. Of if you're heading to the north to the orc camp on with a donkey and some coin, or if you're going to stick around in town.
Do we all need to be there to like carry this food, or
No, you don't. We can split the party, but it is a day there and a day back. So I mean,
Ugh.
less time if you
That's so
less
much
time if you travel fast, but that is a significant amount of time for things to develop.
What day are we on at this point in relation to the end of the world as we know it?
There are 9 days left.
Oh, still 9 days?
Yeah. It was. You've done 2 days. It's actually worked out to be 1 day per session so far, so that has made things easy. The first day was before the 10-day thing. Then you had the vision, so there were 10 days left. So now there are 9 days, including today. At the end of the day, it will be 8.
I mean, I am, to my very core, always opposed to splitting up the party. If we were hypothetically going to do that, I think probably Thorold and Kitty would be the most equipped to go negotiate with a bunch of orcs for obvious reasons, but I still don't like it.
yeah, it's also gnolls and potential undead along the way.
How dire is the food situation at this point?
It's been somewhat satiated. Now, here's the thing. If you don't go, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. They're going to get some other people to do it. They just may not be as good at negotiating as you are.
so it's not really a thing of like respect that we as the like somewhat representatives of this whole debacle go to negotiate. Like someone else can go negotiate and they may or may not get a better price.
Yeah, somebody else can definitely negotiate. Somebody else can try to do it. It's just they Larasova would want you because she thinks that, based on the situation, what happened this morning, that Kitty has earned the orcs' respect, and this might give them the best chance at a peaceful resolution.
Yeah, Kitty would like to go.
All right, so Kitty is interested in going. Would Kitty be interested in going, and also splitting the party, or going and not splitting the party?
Now I think Kitty's got the most money, so if food prices go up, I won't really be impacted. So I just kind of remind everybody, if they don't negotiate well, y'all ain't gonna be able to afford food.
Yeah, but if everyone turns into undead, who gives a shit about food?
Yeah, I think the undead thing is higher on my priority list right now than the
I don't
food.
think it'll happen in one day.
Well,
But-
that's the one thing I'm trying to work, because the undead problem seems like it's because it's making the people more and more paranoid and could turn them against each other, and I feel like that's more of a danger to the town.
We'd be losing 2 days if we went fast travel, maybe like a day and a half, and I feel like that's way too much time.
Out of 9 days, that's so much time to part with. Today,
It's great,
an
it's not
angry
even
mob
rushing.
almost just like turned on a little kid and burnt a whole building to the ground and was about to just like incite rampant fear. So I'm like, oh my god, if we left for just 2 days, if there were already, what was it, 5 total cases?
Yeah,
Why
4 or
are
5
we
that he
even
knows of.
talking about it? We
Okay.
just stay then. We send
No. I'm saying you can go. I just don't think we should all go. That's why I said I think Kitty, because of your battle for honor, and Thorold, because of his racial background, would be the most equipped to maybe be taken seriously if any of us decided to go for the negotiation. But I don't think we should all leave Garakan because, like, had we not intervened today, how badly would things have gone? Like, people responsible for handling things were just basically inciting more anger in an already angry mob.
I would say that driving down food prices might also help
That's
calm
true.
people down a bit.
That's true.
The
But I
only
think-
thought is, if this is sort of a contagion, illness that's being spread, then time passes. There's more chance of things going.
Why don't we vote?
Yeah, I think a vote sounds appropriate. So, it sounds like there are two options. Nobody, it seems like, wants to just say, let's abandon the town for 2 days. It sounds like the choice is either split the party or let somebody else handle the negotiations. Let's just all work on the situation in town.
Yeah.
Am I reading that right? Those are the two choices people are going for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, I will, in the session chat, we'll just make a quick poll of either stay in town or split the party, and I'll just pick the quickest, easiest ones. All right. So there it is, and choose in the session chat which one to go with. And I think that it makes sense, since we're doing this poll, if people want to discuss more or think on it, maybe we'll go ahead and take a quick break here.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be back in about 6 or 7 minutes or so, and we'll see what is decided to do upon that return. All right.
As everyone is deep in contemplative thought.
I'm actually untangling a ball of yarn. Like, legitimately.
Getting into character.
Yes, very much so. I'm actually ready to give up and just fucking cut this string in half. I hate this.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not opposed to splitting us all up, but also, yikes.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just wondering what would happen, like, on the road.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we could convince them to send along some other folks to help out.
You think we'll be able to
Send it
convince
on.
them to not only bring down the price of food, but also send us sacrificial lambs that may or may not be claimed as undead?
Oh.
Well, send the people that they were gonna send anyways in our place, because we're going with less people.
Well, we kind of dealt with, well, I hope we dealt with the undead issue out in the countryside, which
Yeah,
there
we
weren't any
would,
more pockets after those 3 that we dealt with.
Yeah, we burnt most of that, so... I mean, the other thing is, there are gnolls out there, so... Oh! Kitty, your friend. The other cat, halfling.
Yeah.
Maybe convince them to go along with you guys if they're heading in the same direction?
Yeah. We can ask them.
Just for added muscle.
Agreed.
Oh boy, I'm back.
Hello.
Hello. Let's see. Are we all here? Hayden, you here?
Yup.
What about you, Kelly?
Yep.
Say all.
Oh.
oh,
That was just yeah. All right. Sean is here. Mallory,
Present.
and I think I heard Will.
Yep.
He was first, I think.
Not here. Will's not here.
Well, then we will resume as a fateful decision appears to have been made. And all right.
We're gonna make things slightly complicated by maybe possibly trying to convince the Kitty's friend to
Yeah. I
Go
want to
along.
ask Riley to come. No, the elf doesn't
Okay.
want to come because he doesn't like undead. So even though there's possibility of gnolls, I don't know if he'd join us, but I'd like to ask Riley. if he wants
Okay,
to
yeah,
go.
you're gonna go to the lodge and try to get a little added assistance. Okay. So yeah, Kitty.
We should have to go in the same direction until we part ways, at least, maybe.
Sounds good. So, well then, by a vote of 3-2, a close call, a difficult decision, but a decision has been made, and that decision is to split the party. And so the parties then, after gathering up and discussing
for this decision.
what happened, decide that you're going to take the risk and try to have it all. It's a bigger risk to not do it. So in that case, Thorold and Kitty, assuming that is the group that was decided, are deciding to meet with Larstova, to also meet with Riley, and try to get a little bit of added assistance as you take to the roads and head north to the Clan Dybbuk camp. In the meantime, Lithram, Stas, and Araza are going to stay in town and do their very best to attempt to uncover exactly what is the deal with this undead situation. So we'll start with Thorold and Kitty. You wanted to talk to Riley then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you inform Larstova that you're taking the job. You stop by the lodge where you go in and you see there are a number of adventuring sorts who are there, and among them are these fine folks, and so I'll reveal some of them here to you. You recognize immediately Riley, the catling. There's also Dugan, and you can very clearly tell his father Edric, as they bear a striking resemblance. And then Sarah, the wood elf, and there are a few others, but those are the ones that you have been made aware of thus far. And you go up to Riley. He says, "Oh, yeah, we were just getting ready to head out.
Well,
No sign of your imperial lady yet, though."
Well, I mean, at least you tried. Well, it's a good thing we caught you before you went out, because I was hoping to tease you with a little bit of a different adventure, if you're up for it.
Hey, what's the pay?
Well, you know how all the food from town was stolen? And then
our situation.
Yeah, and then I may or may not have to fight that person and try to get our food back and all that good stuff. Well, a fine lady gave us the rest of the money to go buy the rest of the town's food back, but there's only 2 of us, and we could probably really use the muscle. And we've been told there's definitely some gnolls out there, so the same thing you were looking of hunting earlier, definitely gonna be there.
A wee bit of gnoll hunting, and presumably people who are going along on this trip will get paid. Burgermeister's asking for it. Sure, why not? I'll come along.
Awesome.
You're heading to the orc camp then?
Yes, we are.
2 days by foot.
Yeah, we got a donkey. I'm sure we can.
No, the donkey's probably carrying the gold.
Money.
Money.
Well, maybe we can ask them to lend us some mounts.
I think we might want to try and do that if we want to make it a relatively quick trip. People are wanting that food, I'm sure.
Well, that and things in town ain't been going so smooth either. So maybe the boss lady will give us some mounts, so that way we don't have to be gone as long, and she's got more backup here in town.
I heard there was some sort of commotion, Daneski, but I don't know exactly what. Things aren't going so well in town. What do you mean by that?
Remember the things I said earlier about things not exactly staying dead?
That sort of thing's happening inside the town now?
It's right here in town. That's why we gotta get this food and get back real quick.
Oh.
As soon as possible.
All right. Fastest route probably would be fastest way would be if we ran horses into the ground and bought new horses as soon as we got up to the orc camp. We could shave a bit of time off if we hired a river captain.
Well,
and went foot the rest of the way.
All those ideas sound great. But if we run these horses into the ground, you gotta promise not to tell Araza. She'll get real mad.
Oh no, we're not gonna kill them. We'll just run them ragged and buy new horses when they're too tired to keep going.
Alright, well we gotta make sure they don't die or I'll never hear the end of it.
Well, I mean, there's always a chance, but...
This sounds like a good idea. Let's get supplies and get on the road.
pretty open ground. Besides, we cat folk are pretty small. We'll have to get a big one for your friend, though.
Yeah, this is, Thorold over here. Thorold, this is Riley. This is another one of my kind.
Hey, pleasure to meet
Hello.
you. Name's Riley O'Shea. I'm not from the litter of sort of, my parents weren't from there, but, a bit of a wanderer. So you're an orc. Are you the big one that fought Kitty?
You off. No. The one who fought Kitty was much bigger.
Huh. Good for you, Kitty.
Thanks.
I heard you won.
I did. It wasn't. The fight didn't go exactly as planned. I think I kind of.
Well, no fight ever does it?
It doesn't. But you're right. I did come out victorious, and my blood is green, as the orcs say. Which is why I'm not sure if it's going to be trouble for us on the road. But we got to protect ourselves just in case.
I know those are nasty things. All right. Well, we'll negotiate the price and maybe get ourselves some horses or hire a riverboat captain. We'll see what the boss lady says.
All right, we'll let you know.
He'll tag along, and so the two of you can go and prepare to leave, and we can work out some of those exact details outside of session. See how much people want to pay to upgrade transportation. Larstova is going to offer some pay for this because, I mean, you are doing the town a service.
Yeah.
So, I think she'll offer a crown for it. That would be 100 copper.
That's how much I need to get some freaking armor.
I mean, not each,
I know.
but yeah, she'll offer that, and that will obviously, if you're hiring Riley, then he would get some of it, and then the other two of you can get the rest, and decide whether you wish to share it with others. Hire horses, I'd say 10 copper.
Oh, that's not bad.
So 10 copper each if you want to hire a horse, and that would certainly expedite the travel and allow you to get back in a bit less time the next day rather than 2 days hence.
Yeah, that's doable.
Okay, so if you want to do that, then yeah, you can mark that off. Speaking of money, I guess it's past midday, so it is time to have a bit of food, so that you are not hungry for the road. So, Thorold, what do you decide to eat before heading out, or as you begin to get underway?
I will have one of my apples.
Kitty, what about you?
Kitty's had a busy day, so Kitty's gonna have the rest of that dried fish that the cat didn't eat. And then I will have a bread and a star apple.
Okay, sounds good. Lithram, what do you decide to eat today?
I will do dried meat.
Okay, sounds good. What about Araza? What about you?
Would it be possible for me to purchase food, like purchase a meal?
Yeah, you want to eat in town?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Let's say 4 coppers.
got it.
All right, so yeah, you purchase a meal in town, deciding to store up your food in case it's needed later. What about you, Stas?
Yeah, I'll also purchase some food in town, or do a meal out.
Okay. So after eating and resolving those things, as Kitty, Thorold, and Riley prepare to leave and head out into the wilds, what about Lithram, Stas, and Araza? What's your plan for the rest of this third day here in Garakan?
What time?
We gotta go check out that well.
Yeah.
Okay, so checking out the well is one thing.
Taking some water samples from the well and maybe along the river at various stages.
Okay.
We gotta go get the writ from the constable.
Oh, to be able to talk with people?
Yeah.
Okay.
And talk to the shroom lady.
And you want to talk to Shumulaka as well and see what her people know about this situation. Yeah. Okay. All right. So a couple of things to do there. So let's handle each of those in turn. First, we'll deal with getting permission to talk to the people. So you go up to Haram Dorov, who seems a bit harried. It's clear that he's been dealing with a lot of situations. He looks up and says, "Oh, I heard that your compatriots left. You three decided to stay then."
Yep.
Well, good. I could certainly use the help. We're getting some reports of undead in Taneski. My brothers are handling it where they can, but if more things show up, maybe I can rely upon you. Yes.
If we can be completely candid with you, was he present for what happened this morning with the...
No, he was not there.
Okay. If
That
I
was
can
just his two brothers.
be completely candid with you, the situation almost escalated to a great deal of unrest in Donetsk this morning.
Ugh, poof, look.
And
Ugh.
I
Did
must...
Yar make it worse?
Yes, so I'm so glad you saved me the trouble of having to... It's important when people really understand their siblings, you know what I mean?
He's a bit of a loose fireball if you understand the drift.
And I'm sure that you understand better than anyone with the current food borderline crisis and the fear that surrounds what's been happening. It's a very volatile situation. We were able to diffuse a lot of what happened today, but without certain permissions or legitimacies afforded to us, you know, it's difficult to be able to help as much as we want to help.
Yes, I suppose I can... Listen, I will deputize you, so to speak, to do the things you need to do to continue investigating. It seems as though you're going to do it whether I do that or not, so you might as well be on the official payroll, so to speak. In exchange, can you do a favor for me?
Another one.
Yes.
More favors than what we're currently doing.
I unfortunately think that this town is going to need as many favors from as many people as we can possibly call in.
We're listening.
Garakan does not have a town guard. Most towns of our size don't. We're not the imperial capital or anything like that. It's just me and my brothers. I think perhaps we could use a few more people. In the process of your talking to people and going around, if you find anyone who seems like they could potentially be deputized, could potentially help deal with additional situations that may arise if things get worse, could you send them my way?
Yes.
All right then. If a little bit more manpower, and I think maybe I can help keep panic to a minimum. With the food situation, people are already on edge, and now this undead thing, I think I might need more than 2 deputies, you know.
I agree completely. Maybe some more even-tempered one.
I will take whoever you can get me. Even-tempered would be a plus, though.
Mm.
And I'll
That was easy. I thought we were gonna have to schmooze way more.
uh,
But instead he was like, oh, fuck it. Thank you. Oh, God. Yes. Absolutely. Here's your badge.
you know, I sometimes some characters will give you a harder time than others. Harumdorf is feeling a little overworked right now. He's happy to delegate a little bit, particularly after he hears that his brother almost escalated a riot. So in this particular case, that was easy. All right, next thing on your list was to test the waters, I think. Stas and Lithram. So if Araza handling that interaction, I think Stas and Lithram as the arcane magical folks are the ones to most likely capable of doing this. So Stas, you collected a little bit of water from the well, and Lithram, you are getting the river as well.
Yep.
So let's have each of you do an check using your spellcasting ability. So I think for both of you it's charisma.
Can I ask which way does the river flow?
You certainly can.
Or to the right?
I'm
supposed to say northy, westy stuff. Hold on, let me zoom out and see where the fuck this is.
Oh, that is true, because our our north is technically this direction. Just to make
East to
things
west.
confusing. So yeah, you know, when you use these automatic generators to make your to make things that can be used without attribution and the like, occasionally things like that happen. I am not a cartographer. Give me 1 second to jump out to the big map and take a look at where the river should flow.
Joey, do we get to add in our backgrounds for these?
If you have a relevant one, yeah.
Okay.
So look over your backgrounds. If you got a question, just ask me, and I'll tell you if I think that could apply.
I think my wizard apprenticeship should help, right?
Yeah, I think that would help in this.
Would Arcane Guide work at all?
Arcane Guide? I think not for this. This is more like lab testing rather than guiding out in the wild. So I think Lithrum's will apply, but yours unfortunately will not. The river flows north to south, or rather it flows from your direction. I'll just draw the arrow. It flows this way.
Well,
Which makes sense, because it flows down from the mountains, basically. So the Orcish mountains being to the north, it flows south and then curves around to the east. Knowing that, what does that do for you?
me?
Yeah, I just wanted you to ask as well.
Oh, it shoots one of my theories in the face.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay. That means now I can throw that theory away.
What theory are you eliminating?
Well, we don't know if it's moving to the other side of the town.
I mean,
How
if
would it
it's a-
not? Where would it go?
It would. Well, we've experienced the undead in the east, the western part of the land from the town, and we've had issues in the Heart and Dineski.
You mean the undead?
So it
undead
might spread to the other sections.
Got it.
Whereas you were thinking, is it an elitist plot to get rid of the undesirables?
Yeah, basically. I was like, okay, well, if all the fancy people live over here, and you dose the water over here, then guess whose problem the contaminated water probably isn't.
but
But
But if
considering
the water
we-
flows in the other direction, never mind.
yeah, but we found all the undead on the west side of the river, so if it's polluting further,
If it is flowing that
Northwest.
way, the rich people aren't going to be spared. If that's
Yeah.
the source, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So yes, a little bit of theorizing there. So yeah, you figure that if it is an elitist plot, it is not one delivered by the river. This is followed up when Lithrum, after conducting a bevy of tests, finds no contamination in the river.
Oh,
Stas, you attempt to test the water from the well, and you don't sense anything magical about it either. So, in neither case do you find there to be a water situation there. This takes a little bit of time, and after Araza gets back, you have the chance to reconvene and then head to meet Shumalaka.
Maybe it's spores and not water after all.
Is a question. Yeah, so you do that, and as you head over to Shumulaka's house, and takes a second for her to answer, and when she does, she seems a little bit tired as she looks and sees each of you coming. Says, "Wunderbar, Arasa, Ithrim, Stas. How has your day been?"
Rather eventful.
A mixed bag.
I've been a bit out of touch. I've been communing with the roots. What is going on?
Seems the undead have started cropping up in the city.
The Great Charlie's, that did not resolve everything, then.
No.
Nope.
Fortunately not.
I was afraid of that. And you have not looked any further into the future yet?
Not yet.
Yes, good to know exactly what you are looking for. That is all dire news. I communed for some time, seeing what my people know or have heard. And I'm afraid it's not a lot, but a few somewhat unsubstantiated reports, things that they have seen or have heard from other travelers. Unfortunately, none of the Trixolk have actually seen this, but you mentioned the Lich King, I believe. Been discussing the undead?
Yes.
It would seem that, some peoples of the desert who, the Zorro Swamp is not far from there. They say that the Lich King has disappeared for some time into his labs, into his research, doing some sort of experimentation. It usually, the people, from what I heard, the people of the desert were quite happy with this, because that means he's not causing more trouble for them. The deserts have been quiet, as the Lich King is occupied with some sort of project. They said that there were some comings and goings, a handful of people coming in and out of the swamps that they hadn't seen before. A group of Imperials. That's the most I was able to find. But yes, it seems the Lich King has been concocting something, and maybe shared it with some Imperials. Or perhaps that is unrelated. I'm not sure.
Well, that would.
You seem a bit tongue-tied, Stas.
Well, we did also get confirmation that Grey Charlie was in contact with some Imperials as well.
Ah, I see. In contact with some Imperials. Imperials possibly, of course, most people are Imperials. They have the largest empire, after all, but perhaps not entirely a coincidence. I'm not familiar with that many Imperials in the town. Perhaps someone in authority could, maybe there are logs of who lives in the town or something, if you wish to follow up.
Well, these ones were supposedly located outside of town, although if they've got contacts here, then that certainly complicates things.
How exactly did you know Grey Charlie was in contact with this Imperials?
Paper trail.
Paper trail. So he got mail. Have you thought to look for any mail carriers?
Son of a bitch.
Is that a thing? Is that how you receive?
Well, how else does one receive mail?
I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I hadn't thought about it. I think part of my brain assumed you receive mail like
Individual messengers, private messengers.
yeah,
Magic.
via birds or magical means or some shit like that. I don't know.
Of course, it is possible that there are private, someone delivering private messages, but...
Mailman is my question.
Well, that is certainly a question. He lived in a cottage out in the wilds, but, someone delivered the mail. Maybe worth looking into? You know, if it's a paper trail, as you say, follows the paper.
Right.
I don't know. Just a couple of ideas. If you're looking for Imperials and looking for whoever sent the letters.
Did she answer the question about nefarious uses for spores?
Yes. Spores. Bringing this up caused a bit of consternation amongst some of my older members of the Twigsog collective. They were not so happy with that implication. They said no, and hell no, and hell fucking no, mainly. As far as is it possible, I think maybe they protested a bit ardently, but I think it's possible, yeah. But I don't know for certain. If it was a case, that would mean a Twigsog was involved in some fashion, and it would have to be a Twigsog who deliberately cuts himself off from the collective, because if there was another in town, I would know, unless they were cut off.
Is that a thing that happens?
Some decide to do so, to sever the roots, yes. To never again bask in the embrace of the collective. It is not commonly done. Not helpful, I know, I'm sorry.
So, you tested water through whatever alchemical means or arcanic means. Can you test air the same way?
You look over at the mage folks, and both of them kind of look at each other and shrug a little bit. Methods to do that aren't necessarily well known, but I mean, maybe if you think it's like an infection and you got like the contents of an infected person's lung or something like that, air that you knew would be infected, you could try to see if there was something unusual about it, potentially.
I mean, the other thought that I just had is if it's spreading through food, because that's been a big issue here, but that would involve the orcs, and I don't imagine that, well...
That's dishonorable.
Yeah, that would be pretty shitty.
With the green orcs. Gray orcs, on the other hand.
Well...
Just kidding. So we might have to check the air in the house again.
I don't know if that would be enough, because, like, if the air was contaminated, then everyone in the house would have been, right?
It might
But
be
the thing
worth
is,
it.
we haven't found out enough about who the other cases were, and if there's any link to any of them yet.
I was going to say, I think at this point it might be best to question some patience.
Is that what y'all want to do next? See if the dad has woken up and maybe question some of the other patients?
Maybe some or one of us can start heading in the direction of trying to figure out who delivers messages while others do questioning.
Yeah, you could certainly do that. Is there someone in particular who wants to look for messengers?
I mean, if it means I'm not going to have to do charisma rolls, then yeah, sign me up.
All right, so Araza is going to try and track down page boys.
I can't wait until you have to intimidate or persuade someone to tell you who the messenger people are.
Yeah, so you start to investigate, look around a bit, and you find that for the most part, there is a page boy type situations. People give a few coppers. It's a business. People give a copper, and the page boy takes the letter to where it's suggested that they go. But the page boys know each other, and so you start tracking them down, asking questions, asking if any of them have delivered messages to outside the city, to any cottages out there. And I think let me have you do a you're not gonna like this.
God damn it.
Let me let you do an intelligence roll, which is identical to your charisma.
Big money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies.
As you start kind of puzzling this out, talking to people, and trying to get in there. Hey, not bad. You're asking about people's roots and who goes from where, and you think with the whole thing about the imperial looking, the one with the imperial weapons showing up in Mother's Milk, you start asking around the page boys who usually go to Mother's Milk, and you ultimately are able to find that there was one who delivered a message from a house in this district to somewhere outside the city. It's secondhand information, but you do find that did happen. And with a 19, I'll say that you are able to get an address for where the letter was delivered from. And so you gather that information. In the meantime, Lithram and Stas, you are questioning patients. Let me have you do, each of you do a charisma roll and then an intelligence roll, as you're just trying to find out if there was anything in common.
No, I guess Clan Speaker might not assist in this.
Probably not. as it's not kind of negotiating. It'd be more bedside manner and investigation. Still a pretty good roll. So there's the charisma as you calm people and talk with them, and then intelligence, try to piece things together, and then same for Lithram. Let's see.
Oh God.
Lithram.
Oh God.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's a little bit of a good cop, awkward cop situation.
There. As he pats, he goes to pat someone's leg. It's missing. He's like, oh no.
Sorry about that. Were there bite marks? Did they amputate? Sorry, is that insensitive?
Oh god.
And so you start questioning. The main similarities is that it does appear that everyone who turned was previously unwell for some reason. Frail, sickly, elderly. It did not take anyone healthy yet.
I was gonna say.
And but trying to piece together other similarities and things like that, it's a poor district. Most people did several of the same things. They went to work, got water, got food. They took care of their families. If they had sick relatives. So here's one thing that is maybe potentially useful. Not all of them were like giving medicine to the sick people. So that is not something that is in common across everywhere. A couple of them had medicine, but others were just sort of treating at home, or it was just a really old person, and there wasn't necessarily any treatment that was taking place. They were just caring for an aging family member in the home who then turned.
You know how when we were in the house earlier and we had asked if anyone else in the house got sick, and she had said that the father had also gotten sick but he recovered?
Mm-hmm.
Does the same go for them? That they weren't the only, it wasn't the pre-existing condition people that were the only one affected by the illness? They were just not the ones that didn't recover? So
you ask that, and so Lithram and Stas, as you were asking around trying to see if there were any similarities, that story was not universal, but there was at least one other who someone else in the household had seemed unwell at around the same time. Not necessarily had seemed unwell around the time the person turned, not like a couple weeks prior necessarily.
Their symptoms from the illness alone, did they all sort of get fevers and whatnot?
No.
Were there common?
No, the symptoms were different. The turning seemed to be all the same. Convulsions, after death, eyes fluttering open, the whole deal. That is the same, but the symptoms of the disease that you heard, if they had a prior disease, and not all of them did, but those who did, not all the same. And so, as you continue to investigate those things, Kitty and Thorold begin their travels, heading north. Kitty, Thorold, each of you roll a wisdom check using any relevant survivalist thing. So explorer and scout, I think, would both apply.
Sounds good. Hope our friends are okay.
Riley says, "Hey, I hope they're actually gathering some information. That would be really useful, I think." As you're making your way, you avoid some dangers on the roads, and you ride hard, traveling as quickly as you can. And as the day concludes for all of our adventurers, we move from 9 days to 8. Everyone roll me a save. Actually, not everyone. I need saves from Thorold, Kitty, and Lithram.
Are we dealing with ability saves or just a regular save?
It's just a save.
What did you guys do?
Normal
save.
Wait, what kind of save?
It's just a save.
How do I?
You'll notice it's at the top of your sheet. It just says saves.
Oh shit.
Were the three of you, like when we split up today, were the three of you ever together in a place that... Wait, yes, wait.
Kitty,
Yeah.
if in your platinum slot, if you will put the number 18.
Oh shit.
Everyone else, if you'll put the number 20.
All of us, even the ones that didn't do saves?
Even the ones that didn't do saves, yeah. Put the number 20.
That's not ominous at all.
Thorold and Lithrum both succeeded. Kitty failed, so Kitty's number is just a touch lower.
It's okay, I'm a little smaller.
Let's hope this number never gets to 0.
Oh,
Ah.
wait, Valerie, what were you saying? When did you think we were all 3?
No. I thought, in my head for a second, I thought when Stas and I were in the clinic, you guys were all together, but then I remembered they went in one direction and you were with her somewhere else. I don't know where you went.
He was with
the
the little girl, yeah, with the little girl.
But I don't know where they went in relation to where Kitty and Thorold were.
Kitty and Thorold both went to the Mother's Milk District.
Oh, did the
might be
three of you
interesting.
take damage?
I did take damage.
Oh,
There, Thorold took. Did you get hit?
No, I didn't get hit.
But Kitty got hit.
Kitty certainly got hit.
Oh yeah. Well,
Kitty got hit and did a bunch of hitting as well. So yeah, I think that this is more or less where we're going to end for tonight. I know
Dun, dun, dun.
there are some ominous questions in your minds, and I am so itching to spoil things, but I won't.
Yeah, don't do it. Unless
Next
we're all
week.
gonna die, and then I'd like to know ahead of time so I can cry in advance.
Next week will be really interesting. I'm quite excited to get to that point. I will also need to prep for a session in which the party is split, likely for a good bit of it. Hopefully not for the whole session. Hopefully we can get everybody back together before the end of the session. But yeah, starting with a split party, and that is interesting, and I'm excited to deal with that. It was a close vote. People uncertain. But in the end decided to make that split, to try and do everything. Thorold and Kitty trying to handle the orc situation. Stas, Lithrum, and Araza continuing their investigations, and all of that will happen next week. And yeah, I'm...
Do things continue to take place?
Some events have been set in motion, some of which you'll find out the consequences of next week. Next week will be a rather significant one in a couple of ways, and I think in preparation for that, you'll notice on your incremental advances, so far we've gotten skills, we've gotten hit points. I'm going to give you the feat now.
Ooh.
So you can choose a feat. So yeah, that's where we'll end off. Yeah, it's been an interesting campaign so far. I'm enjoying it. I hope it is not too stressful, or if stressful, it's a fun.
With
kind of
liches?
stressful.
Nah, not at all.
What did you say?
Dealing with liches? No, not at all.
You don't have to deal with the actual lich. Well, not yet. I am glad that the the dilemmas of the campaign are such that you decided to do something like splitting the party, because like under normal circumstances you wouldn't do that, but I feel like it has at least created a tense enough situation where you're like, we gotta do something.
Go big or go home. Let's try.
I'm refraining myself from spoiling things as hard as I can. Anyways, have a good week, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Thanks, y'all.
Have a
Yeah.
good week.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Stay awesome.